Find Marijuana Today daily on iTunes and rate and review us. It helps us know what we can be doing to make the show better and goes a long way in helping us build our audience. Just search for the term marijuana on iTunes and drop a quick rating and review. Thanks so much. This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Have you ever found yourself sitting there with enough time on your hands to consume a little cannabis and maybe play some video games or listen to music or just pick up around the house? Maybe you like to practice the piano or crank out some progress on your latest woodworking project. You might enjoy flying a kite in your large and treeless backyard or obsess over getting your Rubik's Cube solve time down below 9 seconds. Whatever it is that you like to do after consuming cannabis, you can make it easier to jump into your favorite high activity by opening up ease.com to place an order for legal marijuana delivery, assuming, of course, that you live in a part of California where delivery is allowed and where Ease is active. With Ease deliveries taking place in less than an hour, you could be 60 minutes or so from landing 5 clubs juggling on weed for the first time since you landed 4. Just fire up ease.com, which is spelled E-A-Z-E. That's ease.com for all your legal California marijuana delivery. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, June 5th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 503 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Today's top story starts us off in the Mile High State, where yesterday Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper vetoed a bill passed out of the state legislature that would have allowed for the opening of so-called marijuana tasting rooms, similar in style to those used in beer breweries, but with cannabis. In a letter accompanying the veto, Governor Hickenlooper said he was afraid of putting more high drivers on the road and said that allowing people to use vaporizers in enclosed spaces was dangerous. While there is one cannabis consumption lounge up and running in Denver right now, there is currently no statewide piece of legislation allowing for public consumption spaces. So we'll have to kick the can of that policy change down the road a little bit more, unless, of course, the Colorado legislature is able to overturn Hickenlooper's veto. Yesterday in Florida, a circuit county judge held a hearing on a matter we've been watching closely involving 2 medical marijuana patients who are suing the state for the right to smoke their medical cannabis. After ruling in favor of those 2 patients on May 25th, Judge Karen Gevers issued a stay on her decision allowing for the smoking of medical marijuana by registered patients after the state of Florida filed an appeal. In an hour-long hearing yesterday to address a motion to vacate that stay, Judge Gevers asked for a week more to deliberate and said that the stay would remain in place until then. Our final top story this fine Tuesday is the news that the state of Ohio has released the names of 56 licensed medical marijuana dispensaries that must open up by the beginning of September. The licensing process for those 56 spots was highly competitive with a total of 376 applications filed. Leafly has a handy little map that nicely shows the spread of those license winners across Ohio. The Associated Press is reporting that out of the 31 geographic districts the state split itself into for the licensing process, 3 will not have any dispensaries in this initial opening phase, as no qualifying applications were filed for those spaces. Yesterday, the Ohio Board of Pharmacy also released a new toll-free telephone number where patients, caregivers, and healthcare professionals can call for advice on the best practices for using medical cannabis. If you're in Ohio and would like to give that number a try, just dial 833-464-6627 or 833-HOG-KNOBS. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Remember, ease.com is the website to fire up when you want legal cannabis delivery in California that meets all relevant state marijuana laws. You can easily check to see if your local part of the Golden State is allowing for marijuana delivery and if Ease is active there. And if it's not, and even if it is, you can find all the useful bits of industry insight and analysis developed by Ease over at ease.com. Just scroll down a bit. From marijuana flower to concentrates and from edibles to topicals, eaze.com, which is spelled E-A-Z-E, has you covered. That's eaze.com. Big thanks to everyone over at Eaze for all the support that makes today's show possible. All right, time for the Blitz. Returning to Colorado for a headline, we have a much better Governor Hickenlooper related story, as yesterday he signed a bill into law allowing school officials to give medical marijuana to any student with a proper recommendation while on school grounds. The medical cannabis must be in a non-smokable form and can be given by any school official who volunteers to do so. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week shows the number of legal marijuana industry jobs in the United States in 2017, as well as the number projected for this year in comparison with other professions like telemarketers, librarians, and pilots. The chart has 2017's legal marijuana industry at around 100,000 workers strong, projected to grow to around 140,000 this year. By way of comparison, there are just under 180,000 bus drivers in the United States, 110,000 detectives, and around 49,000 people who work in the coal industry. Good news for legal marijuana entrepreneurs in California, as yesterday State Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones announced the approval of a program that will offer business insurance coverage to companies operating in the state legal cannabis industry. In a statement announcing the plan, Jones wrote, quote, "This first of its kind cannabis business owners policy, or Cannabop program, will make it easier for more insurers to enter the market and fill coverage gaps for cannabis businesses," unquote. Swing over to the OC Register for all the details on this one. Also have to admit that I love the name of that program, Cannabop. Cannabop. Marijuana Business Daily picked up on a story out of the nation of Zimbabwe, which has been making moves to enact more progressive laws for medical marijuana. Matt Lamers is reporting that Zimbabwe officials have temporarily put those progressive moves on hold to give them time to fix issues with the new medical marijuana law enacted just last month. Another good one to read in full. Canada's CBC News has a great piece up looking at the composition of that nation's non-smokable cannabis market, with a large number of companies working to create new legal marijuana products that don't involve smoking, from drinks and edibles to concentrates and topicals. Non-smokable modalities will be a large part of any future legal cannabis market, so this is yet another story I'd open up no matter what side of the border you're on. Yesterday, a medical marijuana activist was ejected from a committee meeting of Israel's legislative body, the Knesset, after he downed 2 small bottles of CBD oil in a protest against cannabis prohibition. The Times of Israel has video of the action, which was awesome and well worth the watch. Finally, for today, Marijuana Moment's Kyle Yeager has a good comprehensive story up highlighting a new poll released by the Gallup organization yesterday, asking people their thoughts on the moral acceptability of different activities, including the use of marijuana. You got to click over for the full list on this one, but it was nice to see that most Americans think that using cannabis is perfectly okay from a moral point of view. In all, 65% of those polled said that marijuana use was perfectly moral, 78% said the same for drinking alcohol, and 91% thought using birth control was okay. On the flip side of that scale, 10% think it's okay for married people to have affairs, 19% think polygamy is fine, and 40% are okay with cloning animals. This is the first year that Gallup has asked this question, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly the gap closes between cannabis and booze in the coming years. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at MJ Today Daily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Why was the math book sad? Because it had so many problems. Thanks to our sponsor Eaze and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.